Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and it's Newcastle against Tottenham to start off Super Sunday. You're probably looking forward to Manchester United against Liverpool as well, which will follow this. But I tell you what, this has the potential to be a bit of a cracker and you're very welcome on the channel. Sponsored by Surfshark on the show, the best VPN you can get today on That's Football. And we'll tell you how you can get that as well with a fantastic exclusive offer. Links in the description, scan the QR code. I've just seen Jadon Sancho on the pitch at Stamford Bridge. Look, Chelsea fans, I don't really have any problem with you, but I have a problem with Jadon Sancho. So if this is where we part ways, you know where the door is, because the fact that you're cheering him, well, good luck with it. Anyway, it's live. Oh God, I've just remembered. What did I do? I did that yesterday, didn't I? Hungover? No, not. I'm not that bad. But I was bad last. I was on a show last. I don't know where I did it. I did a show last night and I lost my shit. I was like, and it's live, and it's live, and it's live. Yeah. Thought you ditched us. Hey, I tell you what. Honest talk, right? Yesterday I couldn't do Arsenal against Brighton because my daughter was playing in a tournament at Warwick, under 16s. Man United were there, Man City were there, Chelsea were there. It was a brilliant tournament, and I wanted to go and watch it because obviously. There was just so many teams playing in this like mini tournament, so I went and watched that, and then I came back and I was gonna do Man City against West Ham because I really did think that West Ham would get a result against Man City, and then I said to Mrs. Goldbridge and Seb and the daughter, let's just go down the local for a pint and I'll get back for R5. Had the pint and I was like, let's have another pint, and they said you're meant to be doing West Ham against Man City, and I went, forget that. The league's boring anyway. Man City will win. It'll be a waste of 2 hours. Let's stay here, have a few more pints and get a Chinese. And that's what we did. And I think the United Stand 8 o'clock show was better for it. So very rarely do I duck a watch-along and get it right. And I ducked it and I was right. I was right. That 2 hours in the pub, family time, great atmosphere, was much better than watching Man City beat West Ham without Rodri. Boring. Boring, isn't it? Look, I'm looking forward to this game. I'm looking forward to Man United, Liverpool. But the bigger problem with the Premier League is it's boring. Say it how it is. Say it what it is. It's boring. I mean, I don't know how anybody can justify that this Premier League is interesting in relation to the title race. It's boring. And yesterday, the relegation race. You know, I'll be having Will on the podcast tomorrow. What did he say? You've got to start giving some credit to the relegation, to the newly promoted teams. What? Southampton battered by Brentford. They're the games. How the hell are Southampton going to get 35 points and stay up when they can't get points against teams in the relegation zone with them, potentially, like Brentford and Forest? They're gone. Ipswich, good point against Fulham, but you need to turn them into wins because, Fulham are a team down near the bottom, apparently. The biggest laugh was Everton. That was the biggest laugh of the lot. But, yeah, so look... I just think the Premier League is just so boring. And I think as soon as Arsenal, the title race, and the relegation race, I think the top four race is the most interesting part of the Premier League, which is what we're going to be watching here today and Man United, Liverpool later. But the actual title race is so boring. I feel so bad for Arsenal as well. I feel really bad for Arsenal. I think that it's just so clear to me over the last 18 months that Man City just don't get those sort of decisions given against them. They surround the referee. They get things go their way. Michael Oliver referees a lot of their games. They get a lot of soft penalties. They don't get yellow cards for dissent or anything like that. And then Declan Rice, the ball rolls off his foot and it's a second yellow card for dissent. And I'm like, come on. I felt sorry for Arsenal yesterday because they're already up against it, trying to compete with the juggernaut of Man City, and you get silly little decisions like that just cost you 3 points. So I think, look, Man City fans seem to gravitate to That's Football like flies to shit. I suppose I'd be the shit, but they're still the flies sitting on it. My point is, I'm not disputing that Man City are too good. I don't know why Man City fans get so wound up about it. At no point am I saying that you're not too good. At no point am I saying that you are lucky. What I'm saying is the Premier League is boring. It is the same as the French League. It is boring to have a team that's going to win 7 out of 8. And people are predicting who's winning the league next season already. I'm looking at next season, and if Man City don't get done, they'll win it next year. We've only just started this one. At the end of last season, I said next season Man City win it. Like, it's getting more and more easy to predict who's going to win the title, and that's the Premier League. I don't actually blame Man City. I blame the Premier League, by the way. Lunch and that's football. Watch along. Here we go, says Rob. Anyway, we're here to talk about this. We've got a Super Sunday. The top 4 race is interesting in the Premier League, and I think this game today is going to be very, very interesting in the context of how we will keep you up to date with Chelsea Palace as well. I expect Chelsea to win that. I've got Madueke in my team, and I presume he is actually starting. But I think that with regards to the game today, Spurs last season looked like a decent team. It came up to Newcastle and got absolutely battered, didn't they? So this is the sort of game where you don't write off Newcastle at your peril. You write off Newcastle. But Spurs do need to start coming and getting points here. I mean, already this season, they should have beat Leicester and they dropped 2 points there, didn't they? Let me just put the tweet out. There we go. Okay, players are about ready to start here. I've got the timer. We haven't got a stats carousel today. Apologies. Just be happy you've got a watch along. Haven't got a stats carousel today because they're using it for That's Football, because they've got countdown to kick off starting in about 20 minutes. So I'm just using static score. We'll have the timer. Bit basic today, but you know that's the way we'll do it. With regards to the lineup today, Spurs: Vicario, Udogie, Dragusin, Romero, and Porro. Maddison, Basuma and Sarr, Odegaard, Son and Kulusevski. Obviously, Solanke is still injured. I think Van der Ven must be injured. Spurs fans, let us know about that one. But Newcastle, they're lining up as follows. They've got Pope, Kelly, Byrne, Graft, Livramento, Joel Linton, Gomes and Longstaff, and Gordon, Isak and Harvey Barnes as their front 3. Tonali is on the bench. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, both teams still missing big centre-backs here. Botman, obviously. Has Botman returned for Newcastle at all yet? I don't know whether he's been back this season. But no Van der Ven for Spurs. Don't know what that's all about. Jonathan says PSR limits the amount of clubs that can challenge Man City. Get rid of PSR and Newcastle could challenge. Current rules are anti-competitive, says Jonathan. It's interesting. Thanks for the super shot, Jonathan Francois. Bruno Gomes is just... Oh, there's nothing in that. That's absolutely fine. It's interesting you should say that. I did a video in the summer, and effectively in that video, I said that... X-Man says that you'll see Tonali today. He was very good against Forest midweek. Keep an eye out for that then. I said this in the summer. Again, modern journalism is so shit in football. It's really, really, really bad. I think there's 1 or 2 good journalists and the rest of them are just bloody coffee makers waiting for hand-me-downs from football clubs and agents. But nobody actually does any investigative journalism anymore. And there is a very, very good point about how it is actually impossible for an Arsenal, a Liverpool, a Chelsea, a Man United to actually compete with Manchester City under the current FFP requirements, because Man City built this squad and revenue on a free hit. You know, these rules didn't exist, so they could just, you know, build the squad, overpay, buy loads of players, and now they're compliant because they've got the revenue and the squad. But to build a squad like Man City now, you can't do it, because you'd literally need a huge amount of money to build that squad, and current PSR rules make it impossible to do that. So if you wanted 18, 19 players like Man City have got, Arsenal can't do it. It's absolutely impossible financially. So you actually can't replicate what Man City have got under the current rules. And that's a fact. You can't do it. You can't have 18 players on 100 grand a week. You can't do it. You can't have 18 players that cost you £60 million each. You just can't do it. You can't build it. So it's very, very difficult. And on top of that, those players are very, very good. The manager is very, very good. I'm a City fan. Completely understand your point. Although winning the Prem 4 times in a row is brilliant for us, it's not great for the Premier League, says Hessen. I had this chat before. The game's kicked off, by the way. Somebody said it to me last night on the United stand. Oh, I bet you weren't moaning when United did it. You're never going to moan about it if you're a Man City fan. Of course you're not going to moan about it. But What I will say is, and I'm pretty sure Man City fans might feel like this, there were titles United won, and I would call everybody a liar who says they didn't feel like this. There were titles that United won that were a bit easy, and there were titles that we won that felt better. Like when we won it in '99, it wasn't just because of the treble, it was because it went to final day against a very good Arsenal side. And there was a few like that went to final day that were really, really exciting. There was a few where you had it won by the middle of April and it was a little bit, not boring, it's always nice to win it, but it wasn't that competitive. And there was a few where we won it, where we got knocked out of Europe and you were almost flat when you won the title because you were still disappointed about Europe. So, look, the league is always better when you win it against a team that pushes you. And I'm sure last season, Man City fans probably enjoyed it more because Arsenal pushed them more. And I'm sure they enjoyed the ones against Liverpool because they pushed them more. Anyway, we're here to watch this game. I think this is going to be really interesting. A lot of people have got Spurs down to win this today, but that's a lovely ball in behind. It's pace, it's Harvey Barnes, and to be fair, Dragusin did get the ball. Good tackle. He looked second best for a moment there. How you all doing on your Fantasy Premier League, by the way? Thank you very much for the early super chats. I'm going Newcastle to win this. Let's get a bit of a poll going. Yeah, let's start a poll on this. Result. I'm only going to keep this up for a little bit because obviously if a goal goes in, then it changes it. But while it's 0-0, you've seen a few minutes. Get your vote in there. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Spurs have got an early corner here. No, it's Newcastle with the corner, and it's going to get cleared by Spurs. We are on the road to 1.25 million subscribers. We're currently on 1.247. So bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Oh, interesting cross from Newcastle there, and it caught the keeper out. It would have been a bit fortuitous, which is another word for lucky. And it sort of went far post and hit the back post. I don't think it was intentional. But as my mate said, neither was his third child, but he still loved it. And that was very close. Very close indeed. Richard Bowyer, thank you very much for your super chat. Appreciate that. I don't know why I can't read it. Oh, he says, watched you since 2016 with Rich and Marcus, says Richard Bowyer. God, 2 names from the past there. Yeah, there it was. I tell you what, I think Isak might have meant that. He might have meant that, you know. That's skill, says David. You know what, David, I'm with you. I think Isak meant that. Who's with me? Because the technique of the cross, it wasn't a cross. He's got his foot down and he's wedged it. Like if he played golf, he's given it a good old wedge there. The technique wasn't a cross. It was good. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what mate said it about his child. Joel Linton pulling people off again. I mean, back. Should have been sent off last week, maybe. Maybe. Are you confident for the United game? I don't know whether I'm confident for the United game, you know. I don't know. We'll wait till we see the team news. I've had a couple of leaked teams sent towards me. And honestly, I don't think they're true. So, you know, I can't say that. Right, now we've got everybody in and ready for the match. Let me just tell you we're sponsored by Surfshark. You can see it next to me there. If you don't know what it is, Surfshark is a VPN, a virtual private network. It's a leading service for protecting your online data and privacy, securely safeguarding your private messages, your photos, your videos, allows you to change virtual location on platforms like Netflix and others as well. So, if you're in the UK and you want to pretend you're in India or the United States or wherever, with a VPN, you can just change your location to Delhi or New York or Sydney or wherever, which is fantastic if you want to access your Netflix in different countries or access other things in different countries. Surfshark offers a one suite, including alert, personal data breach notifications, search, private ad-free browsing, antivirus, and alternative ID. It's also multi-compatible, so you can use it on Amazon, Android, iOS, and you can use it on different things at the same time. So you can be on your laptop and on your phone using it as well. Use the code That's Football though for an extra 4 months free. So you get 4 months free with the code That's Football. So check it out, try it out, and get 4 months. Links in the description or scan the QR code. Big shout out to Surfshark. Fantastic bit of kit. Harvey Barnes! Oh, I tell you what, for a moment there, Harvey Barnes was nearly in bed with Surfshark. It was a perfect, seamless integration. And Harvey Barnes, from Anthony Gordon, cuts inside, bends it towards the top corner, and I tell you what, he's not far off. It would have been a bloody good finish. I like Harvey Barnes, you know. Oh, he wasn't far off as well. He's got some whip on that. Call him Indiana Jones, because he's got a right whip on that, but it wasn't quite enough. Very, very close. Yeah, check it out, Surfshark. That's Football's the code. 4 months. Give it a go. Links in the description or scan the QR code. Thanks, everybody who's tuning in. I can't see Chiesa will start. He should have trained with the whole team, says Christopher. I don't think Chiesa will start, no. Hessen says, I've captained Palmer instead of Haaland and I'm depressed. I did it last week, mate. I did it last week. I thought I'd captained Haaland and it didn't save it. Colin's a legend. He's just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you very much, Colin S. What a legend you are. Appreciate that. Nice to see some badges on That's Football. Got more badges than Blue Peter on the United stand, but we haven't really started the membership stuff in here. So your badges do stand out, like Sol Skibidi, who has just got one. Haaland's got 2 hat-tricks already. Yeah, there is, obviously, Chelsea are playing as well today. They are up against Crystal Palace. I expect them to win that game. If you're interested from a FPL point of view, Chelsea are Sanchez, Cucurella. Hold on, Spurs, offside. Sanchez, Cucurella, Colwill, Fofana, Gusto, Fernandez, Casido, Neto, Palmer, Madueke and Jackson. Neto's been booked in the 8th minute there as well. Obviously, Jadon Sancho's not part of that team. The bench for Chelsea is including the likes of Dewsbury Hall, João Felix, Mudryk and Kunku. Obviously, Jadon Sancho not quite ready for that. Crystal Palace kept hold of Guehi, Henderson, Richards, Guehi, Klein, Mitchell, Hughes, Wharton, Munoz, Eze, Kamada and Mateta. I found it very confusing, I was very confused, actually, by the England squad that Carsley picked. So Wharton, who's been very good at Crystal Palace, goes to the Euros for experience and then gets dropped for the very next squad. But Jack Grealish gets called back in. I mean, I know he started yesterday, but I thought some of it was quite interesting. Very intense game. This is it has been a good one. It has been a good one. Hessen, captaining Palmer might work if he gets you a hat-trick. You never know. What a cross that is! And it's 1-0. Is it 1-0? No, he's offside, Romero. He's offside. It was a good cross. Linesman looks a bit nervous here. He needn't be. Miles off. Definitely offside. No goal there. No goal. Offside, brother, says Richard Drew. Do you get any Oasis tickets, Mark? Oh, look, I'll probably get clipped up on this one, but I stand by what I'm about to say. I was at the Daughters football tournament yesterday, right? A couple of lads I know there. One of them's got his phone. Asked me have I got Oasis tickets. I said, I've got better things to do than to look at a fucking browser for 8 hours. The only browser I look at, I last about 5 minutes. That's all I'm interested in. Anyway, he's got his browser up on his mobile. He keeps checking it. And basically, I was having a running commentary of what was happening throughout the tournament. So it was a bar that was saying, you know, we're waiting to add you to the queue. For 6 hours, this bar was getting filled up more and more and more. After 6 hours, it took him into the queue where he had to verify his email. Then he gets in the queue and he's 332,000 in the queue. So I was like, so you've taken 6 hours to get on the queue and then you're now 330 something thousand in the queue. And I was just like, I've seen Oasis before. I've seen them 3 times before. I've seen them at Lansdowne Road before in Ireland. They're not releasing a new album. It will be brilliant for everyone who gets tickets. But I tell you what, I'm not waiting around that long to get tickets. And also, I've seen that apparently some people are paying like $6,000 for a ticket. Mate, this might be harsh. I like Oasis, but I wouldn't pay £6,000 to resurrect the prime Beatles and Elvis and watch them. So I'm not paying £6,000 to watch Noel and Liam do, repeats. Absolutely not. I think people are mad. If you got your tickets, well done. And if you paid a fair price, well done. But no way am I paying £6,000-7,000 to watch them. No way. As I said, I wouldn't. And people will say that's a bit harsh. It's not just a concert. You're actually paying £6,000 to bring the Beatles and Elvis back to life. I don't know the terms and conditions. What if they do one concert and they're dead again? I mean, to be honest, it's just not worth it. But well done if you did get tickets. Did Newcastle sign anyone besides that left back Kelly? No, I don't think they did, Sven. If we've got any Newcastle fans in the chat, Spurs on the attack here. I don't think they did. I think they obviously wanted Guehi. That didn't happen. They did a silly, desperate late bid for Elanga. I mean, if I was a Newcastle fan, I'd be very, very, very happy that Forest didn't do that deal. I mean, apparently they were offering like 40 to 50 million pounds for Elanga. Just desperation to spend the money. So, yeah. But Newcastle might be okay in relation to... I mean, where would you pitch Newcastle? Because I think Newcastle's home form is still going to be very good. I think they're an honest team. I really like Isak. I really like Anthony Gordon. Harvey Barnes is a good player. Tonali's going to come back. I think it's... with no European football, I think this Newcastle side is capable of still being a competitor for top four. Let me just tell you what you've predicted in the score. 41% of you've gone with a Newcastle win, 25% of you've gone with a draw, and 34% of you have gone with a Tottenham win. There we go. And we've got nearly 10,000 people watching. You're legends. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be live tomorrow lunchtime, by the way, midday from the Goldbridge Arms, talking about the Premier League weekend. I think, is there any big... Just, you're helping me do the show here. I have... Look, the two main topics I want to discuss tomorrow is just how predictable the Premier League is around relegation and the title and how problematic that is after game week 3. I also want to talk about the red card Declan Rice, which I thought was shit and absolutely disgusting. Anything else from the Premier League weekend that you think we should bring into the show tomorrow? Just let me know in the chat. Newcastle have got another corner here, but Dragerson, oh, he's up on his feet. He's up. Gilbert says, what's your thoughts on Lee Carsley as England manager? It's like just boring. I'm interested to... I'm going to watch the Ireland game next Saturday. We'll do a watch-along. Looking forward to that. But hopefully his football will be better than Southgate. But that's not the sort of appointment that's going to win England the World Cup. Yeah. Everton's a good topic. Everton does that. You know what, Kevin Carter? Ever since Everton banned me from that charity game, I just think they've jinxed themselves, really. But I mean, I was down the pub, as I said. We got down the pub about 4:30, got a round in, sat at the table, put the phone there, just was monitoring flash score or whatever, and effectively, I'm looking at Everton 2-0 up. I've got Pickford in goal in my FPL, by the way. So I'm looking at Everton 2-0 up and I'm thinking, oh, clean sheet bonus. 2-1. Oh, they've conceded. Absolute knobheads. Oh, 2-2. Oh, my God, what's going on? 3-2. Nearly spat my beer out. I mean, Dyche has got to go. What's happened here? The linesman pulled his hamstring, has he? Robert says, I think Tottenham will be good this season. Issue with the comms. Yeah. I think if Tottenham want to be good this season, they've got to win this game. Win games like this. Leicester was disappointing. They've got Arsenal coming up after the international break. So, yeah. What do you think Everton should sack Dyche? Let's just, while we're waiting on this, let's get a bit interactive in the polls. Should ask me anything as well. We've got a bit of a break going on here. Should Everton sack Dyche?
Well, at the end of the day, Goldbridge, I think you should wind your fucking neck in. You're banned from Goodison and you're banned from talking about me. I mean, what do you expect from me? I'll keep him up at the end of the day.
I like Sean Dyche, but I always said that it was a silly idea, really, because if you are Bournemouth fans or you are Ipswich fans, you may well end up in a relegation battle, but you will play a good brand of football. The problem with Dyche is the problem with Allardyce. It's the problem with Pulis. I told you he was injured. Linesman's got an injury. Bloody hell. That's like your accountant saying he's got a wrist injury. Come on. All you're doing is running up and down the pitch. Thinks he's bloody messy. I felt something in my thigh again. You never used to get bloody linesmans getting injured. He thinks he's Ollie Murs, look. Oh, I'm out. He'll have to sub me off. Subbing linesman. What's next? Bloody mascots can't walk out onto the pitch because they've pulled their hamstring. What's going on here? Linesman's injured. Ref. It's gone. I felt something. The game's gone. Who do you think is going to score in the Liverpool game, says Daniel? Well, from a fantasy Premier League point of view, I've got no United players. And I think I've still got Salah and Jota. I'd have to double check. But what I was going to say is, I think my big issue with Everton and Dyche is that Dyche's brand of football is... It's just not... He will keep Everton up. I know they've lost their first 3 games, but he will keep you up. There is no way in a million years that Everton won't get 35 points, and that will keep them up. But the big issue is that this linesman looks like he's been pulled out of the crowd. Look at him. He's doing his little warm-ups. Yeah, bit of a sprint. He looks like, well, hey, man, I'll do that. Give us the flag. It's like Sunday lunchtime. One of the dads. I'll do it. I've done a bit of it in my time late, yeah. I've had a couple of pints. I'll be fine. Just put... I tell you what, if it's close, I'll just do that. And, it don't really matter. I don't know why he's Scottish either. But yeah, I think the problem you've got, if you're Everton, is that Bournemouth may be in a relegation battle, but their football will be good. Ipswich may get relegated, but their principle of football will be good. At Everton, you're literally using Dyche to play what will be quite tough to watch football to just stay up. And I don't think clubs are doing that anymore. Gone are the days of Stoke and Pulis where it's a hard watch to stay in the Premier League. You can stay in the Premier League now playing good football. So, yeah. We're back playing now then. Who do you think will score in the Liverpool game? Dyche has to go if he doesn't use our new signings, says Cameron Smith. Robert said he thinks Tottenham will do well. Thanks for the super chats coming in early. What's your FPL code? Oh, I don't remember it now. I haven't wrote it down. Robert says, trust me, Rashford's going to win us the game today. I trust you, Robert, like I trust Ronald McDonald to look after Macau with comments like that. I don't think Everton will go down because when you look at the start to the Premier League season and you look at the bottom 3, you've got, obviously Everton have got 0, but Southampton have got 0, Ipswich have got 1, and Leicester have got 1. And when you look at Ipswich, yes, they played Man City and Liverpool, and they've got a bit of a chance. But when you look at Leicester, yeah, okay, what have Leicester done? They got a draw against Spurs, and then obviously they've been beaten at home by Villa. I can't remember what their second game was for Leicester, actually. What was Leicester's second game? Lost to Fulham. Southampton, obviously, very, very disappointing because they've lost to Forest and Brentford, who would be both down fighting for relegation. So I just don't think any of the newly promoted teams are going to get enough points to pressure an Everton, if I'm being honest. I I think it's a bit like the title race. It's very predictable to say who's going to get relegated. Opinions on the Chiesa transfer, says Kaiser. Will he be part of the matchday squad today? Liverpool are normally quite intelligent with their signings. I know Thiago didn't work out great injury-wise, and it was a bit of a risk, but they're normally quite intelligent about assessing a risk. And to be honest with you, Chiesa will get injured at Liverpool. That is going to happen. Like, you can't moan about him being injured when you've paid such a little price for him. But it's going to be interesting because I think he's Italy's best player when he's actually on it. So, and he's still 26, so could be an interesting signing for Liverpool. 2 fullbacks are playing at centre-back for Newcastle. Don't they have any other centre-backs besides Shah and Botman, says Sven? Well, they were trying to get hold of Guehi, weren't they? And Dance says, with VAR for offsides now, a linesman still needed in the Premier League. You could adapt goal line technology to know if the ball went out of play. Yeah. Well, this is what's going to happen. If they're going to start pulling up with groin strains, then let's replace them with AI. Good play by Isak there into Gordon, who's playing off the right today. And he's lost the ball there. And now it's Kulusevski, who's playing off the left as well. Son lays it off. It's got to be worth a shot. It's a good shot, and it's low. I think it was Sarr who hit it from about 25 yards out. And Pope, it's more or less straight at him, but good power by Sarr. Concentrated on power. It was straight at Pope, but it went out for a corner. Do you think referees have always been so looked after as much as they are today, like the home team paying for them to get massages before fixtures, says Corbs? Do they? Didn't know they had that. What league do you see overtaking the Premier League in the future, says Cameron? I think that's a good... Look, honestly, I think the Premier League has a massive issue. I think their PSR financial rules are too restrictive. We've got a team that's winning the league every year, and we've got newly promoted teams who are going to increasingly struggle to stay up. So if relegation becomes predictable and the title becomes predictable, then ultimately you are damaging your brand. Having said that, is there another league out there that is anywhere near as promoted as the Premier League? So I still think the Premier League is the best league in the world as a brand, but they are ultimately selling quite a predictable product at the moment. Jackson has scored for Chelsea, by the way. Wonders never cease. Cole Palmer got the assist. So if you've got Cole Palmer in your FPL, Cole Palmer with the assist, Nicholas Jackson with the goal. It's been very much Chelsea in that game as well. 2 shots on target to 1, and they've had 60% possession. So very much looking like a predictable Chelsea win, which is not something you normally get. Paddy says you missed my super chat. I'm just going back through them, Paddy. I don't think I did. Europa League plus 7th or no trophy plus 3rd for United. I'll take the league position, Paddy, this year. Yeah, I'll take the league position. I can't be bothered with the banter of being outside the top 6. Jackson on the score sheet again. Astrid Hyde now, says Rub. And I'm disappointed you know who Astrid is, Rub, actually, you know. Christopher Campbell says, Nicholas Jackson scored very good, stunning goal. Good assist by Cole Palmer, very good. Okay. I think Pope will be a huge difference for Newcastle this season. 27 games missed last season. He's a top keeper, says Lee Berman. Ronaldo picture for the Goldbridge Arms, Mark, says Big Man. Thank you very much. A good game this so far. I mean, Spurs have been pretty proactive and they've had a few shots and Newcastle struggling to settle here at the moment. Lee Berman says, I think, but yeah, thank you very much for that, Lee. So Chelsea leading 2-1. Chelsea leading 1-0. Still 0-0 here. I might have a bit of a stand up in a minute. Long day though. You don't want to push yourself too hard. Let's get ready. So I wanted to have a quick look on this game as well in relation to who's had the balance of play, because I would imagine Spurs have probably had more possession. Yeah, 62% possession for Spurs, 40% for Newcastle. Do we feel that Newcastle have fell off a little bit? Do we feel that the... Hello says you should do a collab with Ronaldo on his YouTube channel. Yeah, I tell you what, mate, it's not me saying no. Certainly not. Yeah, I can't see it happening. No, but do you feel like Project Newcastle has sort of fell off a bit? I feel like Newcastle have gone back to where they were before the Saudi money, where they're almost not getting the respect that they did have when the Saudi money first came in. I think if you think about last season for Newcastle and the season before, there was this general acceptance that Newcastle were a side capable of getting top four. Whereas this season, I think a lot of people have written them off. And even some of their fans are like, you know, have we fell back a little bit? I still think Newcastle are... I think I had them as my Premier League dark horse to get top four. I think once they stabilise and get their key players back, then I think Newcastle are more than capable, with the players that they've got, of having a good season. I just think it's so competitive around fourth place. If you take for granted that Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool will be the top three, you've got Chelsea, Spurs, Villa, Newcastle, Manchester United, maybe a Brighton, all fighting for that one spot. Dan Burn here. And, oh no, it's going to get away. I'm glad that Gundogan is back at Man City. Get his energy back, says Christopher Campbell. Thank you very much for your super chats. Ladios says, I don't think Liverpool will be top three. I wouldn't be saying anything negative about Liverpool before we play them, mate. Because if they beat us, they've got 9 points. And that puts them joint top. So I'm not saying anything negative about Liverpool at the moment. I think we're going to win. But I think it's going to be a very intriguing game. I think so much of it comes down to the team that Ten Hag picks as well. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Absolute legends. Love that. We've got... about half an hour gone, but there was a big delay. Oh, another good shot from the edge of the box. Pedro Porro that time, and another block going in. They're having a go here. They're having a go. They're having a go. What's... Hold on a minute. It'd be a massive 3 points for Spurs, though. I'm not saying they're going to get it, but it would be. Remember last season they beat them 4-0 at St James's Park. That was when it was an absolute battering. So Spurs will certainly be looking... I mean, I think Spurs are an interesting team this season. I think they've bought quite well. I mean, even today for Spurs, I don't know a hell of a lot about... what's his name? The number 28. I don't really know much about him at all. But they've bought well. And... Ooh. As an Arsenal fan, Liverpool are dangerous right now. They have more control under Slot, but that Klopp DNA is still there, says Blake. Very intriguing game today. I mean, as a United fan, obviously, it's all about United for me, but I'd be intrigued to watch that game even if I wasn't a United fan or a Liverpool fan. I just think it's a very intriguing game to sort of gauge where Liverpool are. I mean, look, they're not ready for Man United, that's for sure. Saw there. Let's have a look. No, it's nothing too bad in that. It's a bit of a coming together. Although there was a second foot in there from Saar. I don't think it's anything to be too worried about. I don't think he's got booked. Oh, he did get booked. Saar's been booked there for Spurs. I'm not sure if Agate's even in the squad, says Robert, but De Ligt has to play and Xerxes has to play. Agate's not in the squad for Manchester United. Talking about boring leagues, Linda says it's 3-0 to Celtic against Rangers. How do you get excited about the Scottish League? Have we got any Scots in here? How do you get excited, or do you just not bother watching and getting involved in it anymore? I mean, it's just... I haven't taken any notice of Scottish football for well over 10 years. It's just, it feels like Celtic every year to me. And then the bad thing is Celtic don't do anything in Europe either. So it's like it's a very boxed off monopoly, isn't it? They're too good for Scotland, but they're not good enough for Europe. So it's just, yeah, again and again and again. Spurs doing well here, though. Not going to lie. But they need the goal. And Newcastle never write them off at home. Dogie with the foul. 19 years of age, Odebear is, and he's starting for Spurs today. That's what I mean. Ange has got some interesting recruitment around that team. Obviously, Archie Gray was brought in, Bergvall brought in as well. It's a long project with Ange at Spurs. And there again, I think Spurs are another team that have probably been not written off, but they are a team that are capable of being involved in that top four race, 100%. JJ says Celtic, Brendan Rodgers magic. Goal! Oh, what a cross! Harvey Barnes, and that's how it happens. That is how it happens. A ball goes into the goal and it's called a goal. And that is why you don't write Newcastle off. Because they are at home very, very much. Do not bet against Newcastle at home. Harvey Barnes scores, cross comes in. You just can't defend them types of crosses. Harvey Barnes comes running onto it, and he nearly scored a very good goal about 20 minutes ago. But it's a quick throw in down the left-hand side, and is it Murphy who puts the cross in? Lovely finish by Harvey Barnes on the half bounce. But it's a very, very good cross, that. I wish it was Isak who put the cross in. And it's a lovely goal. It's Kelly. Murphy's not even on the pitch. He's on the bench, so that would be incredible if he'd have put the cross in. But it's a lovely cross by Kelly, that is. What a goal for Newcastle. Slightly against the run of play as well. Spurs have been a little bit more progressive, but it sort of suited Newcastle to almost counter-attack a little bit, and Spurs concede the first goal. What's for dinner tonight, Marks, is all talk. I've probably had my main meal. I had like roast potatoes diced and then roasted. Then I had lamb and some Greek thing with cucumber and some feta and some nice greens. It was very nice. I'm Scottish and I don't watch the Scottish League, says Fraser. Even Rangers can't compete with Celtic anymore. It's boring. Thank you very much. Appreciate your super chat, Fraser, as well, and your honesty. So we've got goals in both games at the Premier League at the moment. Chelsea are 1-0 up against Crystal Palace and Newcastle are 1-0 up against Tottenham. Hopefully, this is a theme for the United game where the home teams score first and potentially go on and win. I think we'd all like that. We will have Man United team news coming in for you. It is probably going to be in at some point in the next half an hour, certainly. But Spurs having to come from behind. That's where we're at here. Satsiki, that's what I had. Chuckle Brothers. I don't really know what's in it. Satsiki. It's made simply with yogurt, cucumber, olive oil, fresh herbs, garlic, lemon juice and salt. It's refreshing and when chilled. It's very nice. And it's probably quite good for you as well. I liked it. I like it a lot. Lee Berman says, I know Newcastle have just scored, but do you think Howe will be in danger of losing his job if he doesn't get top four? No. I mean, I think this is a great point by Lee, but I think the Newcastle project has fell off in the sense that when the Saudi money came in, I would have said within 5 years they'll be fighting for a title. But I think because they can't get the money in, it's slowed that project down. And I certainly don't think you can say to Eddie Howe, you know, you've got to get top four when you look at everybody else. I think it's, you know, if Newcastle got top four this year, I think it would actually be a good achievement. So they've sort of, the project slowed down a little bit, hasn't it, really, for Newcastle until they can get that money in. Luke says, will you do Champions League watch-alongs? Yeah, I mean, great question. I think the Champions League watch-alongs that we've always done on this channel are probably going to go up a level now because there should be a whole raft of games that are worth watching every night. Like, I think the first Tuesday, Milan against Liverpool is a good one. On the Wednesday, you've got Man City against Inter, which will be a good one. They're playing on a Thursday as well, aren't they? Which surprised me that in the Champions League you can now play on a Thursday because Arsenal are playing against Atalanta. You don't expect that. You know, if I was Arsenal, I'd go, what are you doing? You don't play Thursday night football in the Champions League. Why are we playing Thursday night football in the Champions League? That's what I'd be saying because Arsenal play Atalanta on the Thursday. I don't really understand that. I don't understand why the Champions League now has a Thursday night fixtures as well because they want to spread it out more. The score is updated. It's 1-0 to Newcastle. It's only for the first week of the Champions League, says Gazzy. I hadn't looked at beyond that, actually. So, yeah, the first week, Arsenal are playing on the Thursday. In October, it's all done on a Tuesday and Wednesday. So, there's good get Arsenal, PSG, Liverpool, Bologna, Villa, Bayern Munich. So, there's some good... There are. I think the Champions League watch-alongs will be better because we'll have more going on. Are Aston Villa not playing in the first week? No, they must be. I can't see Aston Villa's first game. I must be blind. Have Villa not got a game? Who are Villa playing the first week? Tuesday the 17th, I can't see a Villa game. Wednesday the 18th, I can't see a Villa game. And Thursday the 19th, I can't see a Villa game. What's going on there then? Young boys away. Oh, God, I'm blind. I need to go. It's staring right back at me, yeah. Well, if there's one fixture I'm very glad that I'm blind to, it's one involving Young Boys and Villa. Thank you very much. There we go. I know Newcastle have just scored, says Lee. I've done that one from Eddie Howe as well. But yeah, I think they look very, very interesting. Some of the Champions League fixtures, and I'm looking forward to them because I think group stage you can get bad weeks, whereas I don't think we'll get bad weeks. I think there'll be some very interesting fixtures. Europa League, Man United are playing on a Wednesday. Our first game on the 25th. But yeah, I need to start updating my calendar on the international break. But Man United's first game is on the 25th. Have they split? Yeah, I think they've split it, haven't they? So 1 week it's the induction of the Champions League, and then the next week it's the induction of the Europa League. So they've split it all, haven't they? What's your thoughts on Sol Bamba's death, says HLF? Well, pretty much the same as everybody else's. I mean, you're not going to have positive thoughts about it, are you? I think it's tragic. 39 years of age, and I was shocked, like everybody else. Nice words from Neil Warnock, of course, who had him playing for him, but yeah, it's just shocking and very sad that his last tweet was actually, a tribute to Sven, and yeah, very, very sad news. And thoughts with him, his family, friends. Somebody in the chat said Ahmad benched and got really mad. That was a rumour that I got told a couple of hours ago. If he's benched Ahmad, who scored last week and scored against Liverpool last season, then I'll be stunned. But we're not sure whether that's the case yet, so I'm not going to react to it. We've got 5 minutes added on here, but that's because of the linesman. Another yellow card, this time for Joel Linton for a foul on Dragothon. Yeah, definitely. That was definitely a yellow, to be fair. I used to think his name was Joe Linton, and they bought him from Cardiff. I hope I'm not the only one who thought that. Like, before I knew who Joel Linton was, I used to think he was called Joe Linton. He played up front, and they'd bought him from Cardiff. And I don't know why. Rafat says, what do you think of Spurs? Look, I think, you know what? I've seen Spurs play. This is the second time I've watched them play a full game. Obviously, I watched the highlights against Everton. I thought against Leicester, they played really good, but weren't clinical enough to kill the game. And obviously, Leicester could have won it, but got a point. And I think here, they've been very, very good, but haven't been clinical enough in the final third to really trouble Nick Pope. And Newcastle, arguably, have had the two best chances of the game from Harvey Barnes. He had that really good curler that was just wide, and then he scored the tap-in. So I think that, with regards to Spurs, I think they play good football, but is there an air of naivety to the way that they're playing at the moment, which is probably why they brought Solanke in, because goals win games, and Spurs just aren't scoring enough of them at the moment. I mean, obviously they scored against Everton, but Bournemouth scored 3 against Everton, so you can't really take that as a gauge of goal scoring ability. But pretty football without goals. It's like getting dressed up to go for a night out and then sitting in your kitchen and eating cornflakes. Your cornflakes aren't going to shag you. You got to put the ball in the back of the net. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. We're on the road to 1.25 million subscribers. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Just over the international break, I've got quite a good set of shows I want to sort of go through as well. Obviously, we're going to be in the Goldbridge Arms at midday tomorrow for the Premier League review show. Tune into that live if you can. Get involved. Newcastle on the break again here. Options. Little dink to the back post. Keeper will get hold of that. Vicario. Yeah, not enough pace on it. Too much height on it. Do you think Leverkusen will win the league again? I don't know. Dodgy says, rumour has it that Osimhen is refusing to train or play for Napoli. I mean, look, I'm not taking sides, but it's incredible what's happened between Napoli and Osimhen. It's just, you know, I know United had their problems with Sancho, and we did have our problems with Sancho, but I just think it's incredible how Victor Osimhen, to me, 18 months ago, was one of the biggest strikers, talents in the world. And he's now not playing football. I don't know what James Maddison's done here. He's definitely done something to his ankle, but did he get trodden on? I think he did. He's all right. He's up. Who scored for Newcastle? It was Harvey Barnes. I nearly said Harvey Price. Harvey Barnes. I'd love to see Harvey Price score for Newcastle. I think we all would. But it was Harvey Barnes. And it's still 1-0 to Chelsea at half-time, actually. It's Crystal Palace against Chelsea, and it's 1-0 in that one, of course. Man United against Liverpool coming up at 4 o'clock. We've got you covered for that. Ten Hag against... Well, it's half-time here now. Ten Hag against Slots as well. The Dutch connection. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, half-time. To be honest, I think Jackson will do well for Chelsea this season, says David. And it's the Breaking Bad derby, says Amnesia. Third game running, Enzo Fernandez is off the pace for Chelsea, says Rub. What are your thoughts on Madrid's super team fumbling? Do you think super teams don't work in football? What? I don't know. I've not kept any idea. I've not looked at any of the European leagues at all this weekend because I basically was very busy yesterday. Went out, did the 8 o'clock show, passed out, woke up, went and watched some more football this morning, and then I've got just straight on this ready for Liverpool Man United afterwards. So I'm not aware of any European stuff. I've not looked at it. But Daniel says Barcelona are looking good this season. I know Real Madrid weren't Real Madrid losing against somebody. Maybe they lost. I don't know. Can we see Goldbridge the player in the next Sidemen match, says Hello. I don't know whether I'll be involved, mate. I really don't know. I never know whether I'm going to be involved in those sort of things. It's always a privilege to get asked, but times change and I might not be involved, so I don't know. But I'm always available. Look at Spurs resorting to cheating. Tom Daly would be proud of them, says Bleach Demon. And Parma's got 4 assists already. And Gig says Mark's known for taking baths with Ten Hag on Fridays. Ralph Ahmad has just won Player of the Month and has been the only end product for United and benches him for Rashford, who's done nothing. It's embarrassing. Has that been confirmed? Because I'm not reacting to it. But when I react to it, I will lose my shit, to be honest with you. But I don't think it's been confirmed as of yet. I've not heard it from any 100%. But a lot of people saying it is accurate. But a lot of people are saying it, though. Delit starts. I think Xerxes starts, but Ahmad benched. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, that. Okay. People, please watch the game. Enzo's been great, says Black Rogue, and we'll be able to see the difference between a world-class manager and a clueless one today, says Abraham. Thank you very much for that. You're mad if you thought Ten Hag is benching Rashford for a big game, says DK. Well, look, we're not here to talk about that, but it is half-time, so we can talk about that. Just on this game, though, Newcastle, quintessentially, the smash and grab merchants here. Chelsea are beating Crystal Palace 1-0, but Newcastle are beating Spurs 1-0. Statistically, Spurs have had 65% possession away from home. 65% possession for Spurs away from home. They're losing 1-0. They've had more shots than Newcastle, 8-5, but only 2 on target. I think they've had more corners as well, 4 each. So Newcastle have done a lot without a lot of possession, and they're leading 1-0 here. So good result for Newcastle as things stand at the moment. But you feel that Spurs are going to have to commit more men into the box because there's a lot going on outside the box and a lot of possession. But Newcastle looking quite comfortable limiting Spurs to long-distance shots and creating chances themselves. Feel so drained about the season already, says the Spurs way. Look, you've still got 45 minutes. Newcastle have played a good game here, but Spurs need to be a little bit more streetwise and use that possession better because they're not creating enough chances. Before the season is over, Mark, I won't be surprised if you say that United lack a McTominay-like player. No, I'll never say that, Nelly. Hi, Mark. Why do you think Spurs can never win the big games? Is it ownership, just bad luck? On paper, they should be top 6, in my opinion, says Sully. Well, they were top 6 last year. And they may well be top 6 this year. It's still very, very early. And as I said, I've watched Spurs play 2 games, Leicester and this. There's nothing wrong with how they defend. There's nothing wrong with how they pass the ball. It's just final product for Spurs. And they bought Solanke for that, and he's injured. So I wouldn't be too panicky about Spurs. 2 of their first 3 games are away. They battered Everton at home. So there's still 45 minutes here. But I would admit it would be a bad result for Spurs if they were to lose this game. Because that would just give them, 4 points from 9? They'd expect a little bit more than that. Do you see Palmer ever going to United, Mark, says SK? Not on his current contract. And I think Chelsea provides him with all his platform needs, really, doesn't it? Tottenham needs a striker, says not that guy. Well, they have got Solanke. And would you rather United play good football and finish mid-table, or United's super team but they can't play together, says Ali Talks. But I don't think they're mutually exclusive, mate. I think if you play good football, you finish at the top of the league, don't you? That's Man City don't play shit football. Arsenal don't play shit football. Liverpool didn't play shit football. Like, good football means you'll do well. Ange will be one of the first to get the sack, says Lewis. I think that'd be harsh. I mean, I think Spurs under Ange for the first time in years actually have an identity that's watchable, and more in tune with what Spurs are meant to be. What's very difficult to get rid of at Spurs, and you know what? I don't want to go back down memory lane, but it pissed Ange off and it pissed everybody else off. Spurs mentality is an issue. It's like an illness, and we saw it at the end of last season when they played Arsenal. And they effectively had players that were, with fans sort of going, we want to lose this game. And if they'd won that game, they might have got in the Champions League. But they'd rather lose to stop Arsenal winning the league than, focus on their own destiny of getting in the Champions League. And that's a mentality thing at Spurs. And it's up to them what they want to do with their football club. And if their fans want to lose to Arsenal to stop them winning the league, they want to they want to lose to Man City to stop Arsenal winning the league, then that's up to them. But Ange is against that. Ange was very angry about that. Ange publicly sort of fell out with Spurs fans because of that. Because he's in the ground, looking around and seeing Spurs fans celebrating Man City beating them. That's a mentality issue. You can't blame Ange about that. And many of those players in that Man City game, you could tell weren't really committed. So it's difficult to switch that on and off. And I think it will take Ange a bit of time. But I think Spurs would be foolish to get rid of Ange because your football's better than it's been for years. And Spurs fans want to play good football. But it's getting past that Spursy mentality. You know, they should have beat Leicester opening game. They should have gone from 1 to 2 to 3 and the game was over. They couldn't get the second goal. Leicester came back into it. And Vardy could have made it 2-1. So they took a point there. First home game of the season, everything goes their way. They beat it. Second away game of the season, tough place to go, Newcastle. Loads of possession, no clear-cut chances, and there is the goal for Newcastle. And suddenly you're fighting again. Sully says, heading to my pub to catch the Liverpool Man United match. Hope you enjoy it too. You'll never walk alone. Thanks again for all the streams this season, says Sully. Thank you very much, mate. I won't wish you good luck because you're a Liverpool fan. I feel Chelsea will surprise a few this season, says Premium. Eric Ten Hag's going to be in big trouble if United lose today, says Rub. Ange will be one of the first to get the sack, says Lewis Warrior. Spoke about that. Curtis Fisher, thank you very much for your super chat. You're a legend. Appreciate that. BH7318 as well. Palmer's got 5 goals. I've done that. He's too good, says Black Rogue. And Arteta out, says David James. I think Arsenal were really unlucky yesterday. I really do think that they were so unlucky yesterday. Absolutely. So just I'd be I wouldn't say I was fuming about Declan Rice, but I would have been absolutely fuming with that decision if that happened to me. So yeah, absolutely not gonna take the piss out of them too much because it Delit starts for Man United, by the way. Not going to take the piss at all because I just think that, unfortunately, yet again, was just an example of bad refereeing. And look, Man City are the best team in the Premier League because they play the best football. They've got the best squad. I'm never going to not admit that. But what I also will not admit, I will not swerve from, is that there's no way a Man City player is going to get sent off for that. It's just not going to happen. They're not going to do it. And it belies belief sometimes how anal these referees want to be, and it changed the game, and Brighton benefited from it. And look, if we're at the Emirates, I'd love to see Declan Rice get sent off for that, but it was never a second yellow card. You're never sending a player off for that. It shouldn't happen, and it probably cost Arsenal getting 3 points. Chelsea are playing some good football, says ZT. I thought Chelsea at times played some good football in the first game against Man City as well. Maresca got a lot of criticism from Leicester fans last year for possession without end product, but Chelsea fans seem to be really enjoying it at the moment. So Sully's heading to the pub. I sort of feel I want to go to the pub again. Mark loves Arsenal, says Hammer7. I don't love Arsenal. I'd love a Premier League title race. And Arsenal are the one that I would rather be in it than Liverpool. I mean, we might end up with a title race if Liverpool win today. They could be, very much on the front foot. But obviously, I don't want that to happen. But I love football, and I ultimately, if Man United aren't going to win the Premier League, and we haven't won one for 10 years. Then I want the Premier League to be entertaining, and I don't think it's very entertaining at the moment. I think it's very, 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 very predictable, and that predictability is not helped by shit officiating, damaging other clubs that are already playing catch up with the best team in the league anyway. I thought it was a shocking decision. We got lag, says, could you remind Ina and Aidan their prats, please? Thank you kindly, and keep up the good work. Thank you very much for your super chat. Bart says, I get stockpiling players in anticipation of a transfer ban, but why extend the contract of Nicholas Jackson until 2033? Man has a prison sentence. Have they done that? I don't know what's going on at Chelsea with regards to contracts. I really, really don't. Yeah. Why were people talking about Verstappen and Red Bull falling off when they're in 1 and 2 in this F1? It's just come up on the screen there. Yeah. You always glaze for Liverpool too. I don't glaze for anybody. I just watch football and give an honest opinion on it. You know, I've probably been very positive about Spurs, and Ange was a few minutes ago. I've also said that I think Newcastle could be a dark horse. Obviously, not everything I say is going to be true. De Ligt and Garnacho start, says Robert. That's confirmed. Yeah, I'm just waiting to see. I'm waiting to see definitively if Ahmad's been dropped as well. Which is interesting because I just don't get it. Oh, Red Bull haven't pitted yet, I'm getting told. Yeah, we are thinking that Ahmad has been dropped, by the way. Just waiting for confirmation on that. But second half about to start here. Celtic beat Rangers 3-0. Ollie says that who do you think is going to win this game? Brennan Johnson is coming on for Spurs. I'd say he's probably coming on for the young lad. Look, Spurs can get back into this game. Football's a funny old game, isn't it? They can definitely get back into it, but they need to score the next goal, obviously. Are you called on Sky Sports, says Eden Hazard? I don't know what that means. What's the United lineup? I was on Twitter. It's not officially come out yet, but we will give it you as soon as we get it. Yeah, Ahmad has been dropped. And De Ligt is starting. Madness. Absolute madness. Rashford's going to have to deliver today then, isn't he? I'm glad De Ligt's starting, though. That's a good positive for Manchester United. Very, very happy about that. Brennan Johnson comes on, and Sarr is off, actually. Right, second half about to start. Let's get the team, let's get the score, let's get the timer ready. Don't forget, we're sponsored by Surfshark. 4 months free with the code That's Football. VPN, download it, get involved. Thank you everybody for that. Newcastle B3. What have Newcastle done at the start of this season? Oh, scrappy 1-0 with 10 men. Scrappy against... Who did they beat? Southampton. Southampton had more possession than them before the red card. So Southampton had more possession at St James's Park before the red card. Newcastle managed to win 1-0. Bournemouth had a scrappy game again, but should have had a late winner for me. Good point on the road for Newcastle. I mean, if Newcastle win here, they'd have 7 points from a very, very scrappy start to the season. You'd love it. You'd love that. Ding, 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 ding. And Isaac's in again. Good tackle. Good tackle by Dragusin. He's done a couple of those last-ditch tackles. Give him some love. If you're a Spurs fan, not if you're sorry, I'm just putting that out. Yeah, if you want to talk about Ahmad being dropped, countdown to kickoff is live on the United stand. I was just putting that out. Hughes should have had another yellow. Chelsea have been robbed, says Black Rogue. You are winning 1-0, Nate. How can you be robbed? Oh, Spurs nearly level there. That's why you need a bloody striker. Cross comes in right across the 6-yard box, and it's one of those crosses where you just like, where's the tap-in? Where's the tap-in? There's no tap-in because there's nobody there. And there's going to be a yellow card here for Basuma as well. Who's your bigger rival, Chelsea or Arsenal, says Infinity +1. Definitely Arsenal, yeah. Man United Arsenal had the best Premier League rivalry in its history. I mean, we had a good rivalry with Chelsea and Mourinho. I'm not disrespecting Chelsea, but I just think Arsenal are more of a rival for United. This season, we're probably more rivals with Chelsea because it's for top 4. Oh, I don't know. I think Dragusin actually fouls Isak there. Did Dragusin catch Isak before the ball there? Or was it a great tackle? I'd like to see it again. I think he must have got the ball because otherwise they would have reviewed it. He definitely got the ball in the tackle, but I don't know whether he got the player a little bit first. But Kevin Carter says it was a great tackle. Big man Eli says, fact of the day, Chiesa means church in Italy. Well, fact of the day, Spurs are pushing here and Newcastle are going to have to defend well and counter again. Lots of people saying it was a great tackle, not a penalty. Do you really think Man United beat Liverpool today? I think Ten Hag's picked almost the right team, but dropping Ahmad and keeping Rashford in is shocking. Here's Anthony Gordon. He's going to have to find a reverse pass and he can't quite find it. Good tackle by Spurs. Not happy with the Chelsea referee. Neil Robertson, who's a Chelsea fan and snooker player, says the referee's a disgrace in the Chelsea game. So not a lot of people happy without that. Obviously, we're not watching that one. Apparently Rashford always does well against the big teams, so that's why he gets picked. I mean, have you ever heard such fucking bollocks in all your life? Yeah, mate, you've been shit for a year, but you do well against the big teams, so you're straight back into the team. I'm sure that's how Pep Guardiola and Carlo Ancelotti and Sir Alex Ferguson built their success. You've been fucking shit for a year, mate, but you know what? A few years ago, you scored some goals against this lot, so you're straight into the team, and we're dropping the lad that's playing well, just won Player of the Month and scored last week. Eze, I think, might have scored. Have we got a goal for Palace? In Czech, we can watch both games for £4 a month, says Max. Yeah, we can't watch Chelsea against Palace here. Well, there might be a way to watch it, and Surfshark is probably not a bad solution, but get 4 months free. Links in the description, scan the QR code. But Palace have equalised by the looks of it. Feels a little bit old style Chelsea, that. I think Chelsea will still win it. Great goal for Eze. I did have him in my FPL a long time ago, but not anymore. Andre says, pronounce Dragusin, but like an and S as in shot. Dragusin. I think I've got it right now, Andre. Thank you very much. How come you didn't do Celtic Rangers, says Jack. Well, I'm pretty glad I didn't. Please cut the ads. I don't have anything to do with the ads. It's run by YouTube. I don't have anything to do with it. It doesn't even tell me when an ad's coming on to stop the ads. So YouTube, I think there has been changes with it, but YouTube decide when and where they are. I don't think you get them all at the same time either. Anana's in the team, mate. He's starting. I don't know what you're talking about there. Ezzy goal. Oh, it's a good goal. Just seen it. It won't be on Twitter for long, but I have just seen it on Twitter. Edge of the box. Curls it into the bottom corner. Goes over to the away crowd. 1-1. Are we what? Are we going to have to push him out? Worried it would take the fans demanding he be dropped or better sold for us to end this saga. We can't carry him, says Thomas. We, Arsenal, were linked with Rashford at one point. Glad that never happened. Still confused with Sterling, though. And that was from Lewis. And Yazir says, do you think Ten Hag works backwards? Garnacho scores against City and Ahmad does the same against Brighton, and he doesn't start either of them. Anita says... Surfshark not working. Let me just check the link. It's gonna live in the city. I'm going grabbing out of town. No coming. Spurs are pushing hard here. You sense an equaliser may be coming, but you can scan the QR code for Surfshark. That works. Let me have a quick look at this link. Okay. It should work now. Is it any wonder bucket says again? There we go. Perfect. Bloody hell, that's loud. That is loud. Oh, goal, Spurs! I told you, it felt like it was coming. It felt like it was coming. And it's probably what Spurs deserve. It's 1-1 in the 55th minute. Nick Pope and Dan Burn can't keep it out. And as Jamie D says, it's been coming. Ange gives it a bit of an applause. And I don't know whether it'll be anything to do with a Spurs player for FPL purposes. But let's watch it back. Moves it out to the left. Maddison's there. Dink into the back post. Comfortably onside. Oh, Pope. It's going to be on Pope, that is. He makes a right mess of it. I think it's Brennan Johnson who puts the cross in. Or is it Porro on the back post? I can't tell. Yeah, shot from Maddison. Pope sort of goes to spill it out for a corner. Spills it into action. And then Spurs with Brennan Johnson, I think it was. Shoots towards the goal. Pope again can't keep it out, and then Dan Burn can't keep it out. It's an error. It's an error. Have a stretch, Marks. I'll be having plenty of stretches on the United game. Don't worry about that. No, I think you put that down to Nick Pope. It's going to be difficult for Newcastle now because Spurs have got that equaliser and they've got the momentum. So Newcastle, I'd say Spurs are favourites to win this now. Porro with the cross, headed away. Pope's very average, says Frank. Raju says that's on Burn. Anson and Lance says it as well. Lineups are out for both Man United and Liverpool, apparently. I will bring that into you. Still 1-1 between Chelsea and Crystal Palace. United, Anana, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez, Delo, Casemiro, Mainu, Bruno, Garnacho, Rashford and Xerxes. Bruno G is about to get a yellow card here for a foul on the edge of the box on Maddison. Bench for United, Heaton, Maguire, Biinda. 2 goalkeepers on the bench for Man United again. Biinda, Heaton, Maguire, Evans, Eriksson, Collier, Ahmad, Anthony and Wheatley. And suddenly United's bench looks weak again. Our bench looks weirdly weaker than I thought it would. So, yeah, I'm just trying to think. Well, McTominay's gone. Wan-Bissaka's gone. Sancho was never getting on the bench. Ahmad and Anthony. Obviously, Rasmus is injured. Collier and Eriksson, because McTominay's gone. Maguire and Evans. Yoro's not fit. Yeah, I suppose there's not really much more you can do. I mean, Rasmus would be part of that normally. Shaw, Yoro, Agate. Yeah, I suppose. Liverpool, Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Konate, Robertson, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Salah, Jota, Diaz. Good free kick position for Spurs here. Let's see what happens with this. Oh, Mason Mount's injured as well. Over the bar from the free kick. Chris Chisholm says, I've just finished last night's show. It was amazing. You said exactly what I've been thinking for ages. Also looking forward to Pratt of the Week. Yeah, we've got a new show starting on the United Stand tomorrow, which is going to be Pratt of the Week. We do it on the podcast every week anyway. So basically going to be calling it out. Need to update the score. So apologies about this. I'm doing this manually today. Normally it updates itself. So you are sort of my eyes and ears as well. So thank you very much for that. It's been a long time doing that one as well. Yeah, it was a cracking show on the United Stand last night. It's not that we never haven't. I think we always have, but I just think this season there's been a few changes I've made where maybe last season I was a little bit more holding back, and this season I just think you've got to say it how it is, and I think that that's what we're here to do, isn't it? Why doesn't Darwin Núñez start? He's not been starting at all for a long time, mate. Yeah, I think Dan Burn could have probably kept that out. But I think Pope made a mistake as well. Liverpool bench. Should be able to get that for you. Where would I get that for you? Just to slow down in the play here at the moment. Getting nervous for the game, Mark? I think when Man United play Liverpool, you're always a little bit nervous because it's a big game. Kelleher, Gomez, Endo, Núñez. Gakpo, Elliott, Tsimikas, Kwanzaa, Bradley. Strong bench for Liverpool. Stronger than ours because of the injuries we've got. No, I don't. You know what? Just while we've just got a bit of a break in the play here, I think Man United will win 2-1. I think we've shown signs of positivity against Fulham and Brighton, whilst also showing some naivety. But Liverpool are a well-organised team that haven't conceded a goal yet. And it'll be difficult. It will be difficult. And I think the big thing is that United don't get... It would be unacceptable for United to get beat comfortably at Old Trafford in the third game of the season. That would be unacceptable. And people who say, if somebody comes along and says, Agate's not there. 350 grand a week we're paying Casemiro. Like, I'm not having that for an excuse. That's on us for not getting the deal done until the end of the window. We knew we were playing Liverpool in June. That's when the fixture list came out. So there is no excuses for that. I'm not going to start going, the season starts after the international break. No, the season starts in mid-August. And we knew we were playing Liverpool at home. And in some ways, having Liverpool at home in the third game is not a bad time to play Liverpool, is it? It's a tough away game for them right at the start of the season. So, United have got to go and implement themselves on this game. And I think that, if Rashford does tend to play well against Liverpool, then today is the day we need to see that. Curtis Fisher says, can you find my super chat? I'd be stunned if I missed it. Please read my message for Sol, Mark. Would mean a lot. Do you think Brighton could get top four, says Priz? I don't think they will. Helmy says, do you think the signing of Chiesa is a miss-buy, seeing they have more important areas to cover? I think it might be opportunist, Helmy. All Spurs here at the moment. Curtis, I can't see any message from you other than the one where you're saying, please read out my Sol Bamba message. I mean, we've spoken about Sol Bamba. It's obviously tragic news to be only 39 years of age. But all I've got is you saying, please read my Sol one out. It won't let me send. Well, it's not been sent. So I think I'll just repeat again. Very sad news about Sol Bamba passing away. It was announced last night, I believe. And, our thoughts go out to his family and friends. And again, just it's very, very sad news. Connor says, as a Liverpool fan, it's a shame Chiesa isn't available for this match. I think it's more of a shame for us that Agate's not available, but yeah, neither new signings involved. DW Viper has just gifted 5 memberships. You're a legend, mate. Thank you very much for that. Will we see a new style of play from Man United with De Ligt? Well, hopefully we'll see a higher line. Hopefully we will. This game's cooking up nicely for the last 25 minutes, though. And a good chance for Newcastle there. And it's a good save on the near post from Vicario. Murphy with the shot. Another corner here for Newcastle. Do you think Tonali's going to come on, says Dogman? Well, if he played well in the week, you would expect him to be coming on, especially in a home game. I'd still put Spurs as Slight favourites to win this, but never write Newcastle off at home. Joshua Middleton, thanks very much for your super chat. Abraham says, there is absolutely no excuse for Ten Hag to not go toe-to-toe against Liverpool, considering United are at home. Your thoughts? No, I agree, mate. There are no excuses today. Why did he bench Ahmad, says Alexa. I don't know, mate. I don't agree with it, but look, let's see what happens before we start predicting. I think it's very surprising to bench the player of the month who scored last week. But I think until the game is over, we'll have to leave it. Maddison's going to get a yellow card now. Bit of a wild tackle on Bruno G. Chelsea are still drawing. They'd be very disappointed with that, but there's still 20 minutes to go. And they've had a lot more shots. So, look, still time for Chelsea. Have they made any substitutions? Yes, Neto's gone off for João Felix. And Tonali is coming on for Newcastle here. Coming on for Longstaff. Lewis Hall's coming on as well. Well, Tonali back. I like Tonali the player. Obviously, he's had his issues. You know, we're not going to skirt around those issues, of course. Hopefully those issues are behind him. But Tonali back on for Liverpool. Sorry, for Newcastle. Sorry, I'm getting myself mixed up here. Will that give Newcastle a little bit more possession and a little bit more impetus to get up the pitch? We'll see. But it's Spurs on the attack again. He's done well there. And it's a goal kick. I'll be standing up for the United game. I can sit down for Newcastle Spurs, but I'll be standing up for that. So, you the guy that made 4 million and owns 5 businesses, says Jay Rayner. Yeah. Thanks for your message, mate. I'm glad you believe shit. The problem at United is right now we have no clinical goal scorers we can depend on. We won't be able to compete at the top for a few years. I don't think that's the main problem at United, mate. I think it's a bit of a rhythm thing. Ethan, thank you very much for your super chat as well. Appreciate that. Of course, we never sort of think about draws, do we? Could end up being a draw. Predicting a big game for Diaz. He's looking sharp, says Joe. I think Liverpool's front three is a concern. Diaz, Salah, Man United haven't got a left back. Dalot does a good job, but there is a vulnerability at left back. I mean, there's a vulnerability even if you've got a left back against someone like Mo Salah. Mark, I'm happy to see that Ten Hag is starting De Ligt and Xerxes. Ahmad and Rashford in the last game looked somewhat confused during the last game when we didn't have a striker, says Nick. Would you take a draw today? I'd take a draw over a loss, but I'm not taking a draw before the game's kicked off. You know, it's at Old Trafford. We lost against Brighton. The day I take a draw at Old Trafford against anybody before the ball's kicked is a day where we just give up and go home. A draw might not be a bad result for United, but I'm not taking a draw before. I want to see United play. Now that we've got De Ligt and Martinez, I want to see us move up the pitch higher. I want to see us start well. Oh, here we go. Brennan Johnson down the right-hand side. He's got to attack the box better than that. And good defending there by Newcastle. Pat Butcher or Peggy Mitchell, says Chris. What you got to do with him? Take him to bingo or take him somewhere else? Justin says, what you earn is nobody's business. Apparently it is, Justin. Apparently we should all disclose what we earn and it should be there for public consumption. I don't know. If you lived in America, no one would give a shit. But in the UK, people get very bitter and jealous about, you know, people being successful in business. It's a weird place. We like losers here. We like to get knocked out in the semi-final and have bus tours and say, oh, we love losers. I'll be over on the United Stand in about 20 minutes talking about Rashford starting, De Ligt starting. Obviously, if you want to talk more about that, we have got the Countdown to Kickoff show, which is on at the moment in the studio. Let me just have a quick look over there, actually, and see who we've got on. I know Beth's presenting, but I don't know who we've got on with her. Werner's coming on. Kev, Mords. Still 1-1, Palace and Chelsea at the bridge. Son has it on the far side. Little dink to the back post. Cleared away. I tell you what. Oh, I tell you what, Maddison's hit that well. I think Pope's always going to save it, but curls it towards the top corner. Maddison does everything right, but I think Pope's just got... No, it's not quite in the corner, is it? It's a bit central, actually. A little bit too much whip on that from Maddison. Bringing it back towards the centre of the goal, but he's got a corner. Blake says it's a great shot. Curtis, I'm sorry. We've spoken about Sol Bamba about 3 times. I've been through the Super Chats 3 times. The only Super Chat in there was, can you read my Sol Bamba Super Chat out? Which isn't here. But we've spoken about Sol Bamba about 3 times. So stop doing what you're doing, because a lot of people are getting very annoyed by it. Nick Pope or Ramsdale, says Joshua. Can we do that as a poll? Should Everton sack Deitch has been a long-running poll, and it's been left up because it's 50-50. 50-50. Did you get Oasis tickets, says Alistair? I've spoken about that. I've had my pace. Probably catch it on TikTok by now. Well, 50-50 on whether Deitch should get the sack or not, which is quite, that's fair. Deitch, you'll like that. And Son with half a chance. It wasn't Son. It was not Son. It was Johnson. Either or then, Pope or Ramsdale. I do feel bad for Ramsdale. I mean, I like what Arteta has done at Arsenal. I think he's done a lot of brave things, and he's been given the backing of the owners, which has been allowed him to get rid of Aubameyang and Ozil. Wouldn't happen at United, trust me. And, Ramsdale was a good goalkeeper, and he wanted a ball-playing goalkeeper, so he got rid of him. Ramsdale had a good season the season before he got dropped, but obviously Arteta wanted a more ball-playing goalkeeper, and I think it's damaged Ramsdale's career. He didn't do a lot wrong to miss a season of his career. He's at Southampton, isn't he, now? So I think at least he's going to be busy, working, playing. But Joshua asked for that poll. Get voting there. Chelsea are 1-1 at the moment. They've not scored yet. Maybe there will be a late winner. Sprite or Fanta, says Big Man. I've always been a big... I don't drink... I used to drink a lot of fizzy drinks, which is why I had fillings in my teeth. I don't really drink fizzy drinks anymore. In fact, I can't remember the last time I went in the fridge and just poured a can of Coke or lemonade or anything like that. So I don't really drink it, but I used to. So I would say... I'd like a Sprite. I mean, I was a bloody idiot when I was about 20. I used to go to bed at night with a bottle of 7-Up next to my bed. And in the night, I'd have a swig of it. You know, it's just the most stupid thing you can do. Drinking drinks like that. D-Hack, how have you been recently? You've been very good, mate. I hope you're well. Ad says have a stretch. Oh, well, I'll be stood up in about 10 minutes because I'm going to stand up on the watch-along for United Liverpool because I'll be... Oh, here we go. Here we go. Pass it. Pass it. Isak. Onside. 2-1. Big goal. He's in the FPL. He's played that absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect from Murphy. It's a sweaty goal. It's a FIFA classic. They've broken the offside trap and Murphy's ran it and ran it and ran it to the last minute and then he squared it to Isak for a goal here. And it's a massive, massive goal for Newcastle. Don't write them off. Away from home. Well, sorry, don't write them off at home. Never, ever in your predictions write Newcastle off at home. Is there an element of offside? I can't see him being offside there. For some reason, Dragoshan is in a really bad position. All the way through that. He's the guy who plays him onside. And then he's the guy who leaves Isak. But Murphy's quick here, isn't he? Very quick. There we go. No offside on that, but definitely a sweaty goal. Nick Pope's getting more of the vote than Ramsdale here, 58%. And definitely no offside. It is 2-1. Just in relation to this game, by the way, Newcastle, has their possession gone up? No, it's still 35% at home to Spurs 65%. And this is going to kill. This is going to kill Spurs fans. In fact, I'm going to tweet it. 20 shots. They've had 20 shots to Newcastle's 9. They've had 6 on target to Newcastle's 3. They've had 6 off target to Newcastle's 3. They've had 8 blocked shots to Newcastle's 3. 65% possession. And they're losing 2-1. You'd be fuming. As a Spurs fan, you'd be bloody fuming. Because if you go away from home with those stats... What, you know... It's very difficult to get angry with that type of an approach away from home. And effectively, your anger can only be towards the inability to put the ball in the back of the net, I suppose. D-Hack says, I've been great, Goldbridge. I can't back Ten Hag this season if he makes mistakes. Look, if Ten Hag gets sacked this season, I will not have anybody say I told you so. Because what I said, and I'll say it to you again now, is that I wanted Ten Hag to stay because it's year 3. He's won 2 trophies in 2 years. And to me, it seems ridiculous to sack him when he's just won the FA Cup final. And he's had all the problems above him. But what I also said is, I want him to have year 3 to find out whether he's the guy. I never said he was going to survive year 3. I never said he was going to be good enough for year 3. I said I hoped he would be, but there can be no excuses. He's got to deliver this year. Why isn't Ahmad starting, says Andres? I'll be on the United stand talking about that shortly. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Double substitution here for Spurs. Bergval's coming on for Maddison. And we're on the road to 1.25 million subscribers, by the way. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Just in relation to, we have daily content on the channel anyway. Our next watch-along, though, I believe it's on Saturday the 7th of September. I will be doing England against Ireland at 5 o'clock. Looking forward to that one. In Dublin. England against Ireland. Can Ireland get something over there against a new England? Or will it be an old England? I suspect... Look, the fact that we might be looking at Harry Kane playing in that England team again, just... He was the problem in the Euros for me. Can Spurs get back into this? They'll be furious if they don't. Oh, don't be messing around with it there. Spurs win it back. Edge of the box. Werner. Adogi. He's going to have to cut that back. Cleared away. Newcastle now. It's all about the defence. England have an interim coach at the moment in Lee Carsley. I think Spurs' problem is their inability to put the ball in the back of the net. I think they've been the dominant side, and they've just not used it. Not used it. Ben Tanker's just been booked there. I think he's only just come on. It's raining in Manchester, by the way. I think we're due a lot of rain in the UK today, actually. I'm sure it was nice this morning, but I think there's a lot of rain coming in this afternoon. Yeah. That could be a great leveller. Could help. Who knows? Just having a quick look here. I think somebody was saying that Ten Hag had said something, but he hasn't said anything about Ahmad. They're in again. That's a corner. Corner to Newcastle. Oh, Spurs running out of time here. Five minutes of the normal time to go. Yep, still 1-1 Chelsea. They'd want to be winning games like this. Surely they've got a late winner in them. 89 minutes at the Bridge. And they'd be very disappointed, Chelsea, to... You know what? I must admit, if Chelsea draw against Palace, I'd be stunned that they had 4 points from 9. It feels like they've had a better start than that. And I know they've had... I know they had Man City and they lost, but I feel if Chelsea got 4 points from 9, I think they'd be a bit disappointed with that. They've been a little bit... I think they've been better than that. Flying Dutchman says, I'm not expecting a good season from Newcastle. I don't think they've had a good summer transfer window. It's about getting the best out of what they've got. But look at Liverpool. They've only brought a couple of players in, a reserve goalkeeper and a... why is everyone saying Ahmad? I was talking about Ahmad for Manchester United. I don't know what's confusing about that. He's been dropped. That's what we were talking about. Absolutely boiling in London, says Robert McCormack. Andreas asked, why isn't Ahmad playing from the start? And Louise says, Palace deserve it. They've been better in the second half. Leclerc wins for Ferrari. All talks. Thank you very much. Well, I'll keep you updated on what's going on. What are your thoughts on Everton? Are they going to get relegated? Absolutely not. Give me a club that's going to get 35 points to send Everton down. That's the problem. I mean, they've barely got any points, Ipswich, Southampton and Leicester. From, let me get this right. The 3 newly promoted teams have had 27 points worth of games played. 3 games each, where 3 points are available each. So that's 9 times 3. 27 points maximum were available for the newly promoted teams. They've taken 2 from 27. And you think one of them's going to get 35? I don't see it. I don't see it. Good tackle. Corner to Spurs. Why do people keep saying you... Oh, I said Ahmad instead of Isak. Oh, sorry. Okay. I don't really know what people are talking about, but I know that... I know I sometimes get names mixed up, but because I was probably thinking about Ahmad and Man United. I mean, if you don't understand how that sort of stuff works and it gets your knickers in a twist, then I can't help you. 1 minute of the normal time to go here. Chelsea won. They're into the 3rd minute of added time there. And they're adding... Cole Palmer's just been booked if you've got him in your FPL. 8 minutes. 8 minutes is a long time. We're going back to those days again about having loads and loads of minutes added on. 8 minutes. How many chances are you going to give Rashford to Stewart to repay the manager? It needs calling out. Every week it gives him a chance. I'm close to Ten Hag out. I sort of agree with you, Stewart, but I think until full time, you've got to sort of hold back, haven't you? Because if you say it before the game and then he scores a hat-trick, you look an absolute prat. But after the game, if he lets him down again, then I think, you know, that's the risk that Ten Hag runs, isn't he? This is going to be a great win for Newcastle if they get it, you know. I don't think we're talking about it enough. Be a fantastic result for Newcastle if they get it here. 5 minutes added on here. God knows what went on at Chelsea then, because the refs aren't adding silly minutes on anymore. And Newcastle can break, and that's the problem. Anthony Gordon's got lots of space to run into. He's going to come back. He's got options. Wins a free kick. Can't text on the United stand, so come on United, says Odi Grass. Thank you very much. Bruno Gomes getting the crowd going as well. Gusto got injured. Jackson's just missed a big chance as well. Right, I'm going to go straight from this into the United one. So I'm just going to quickly take a toilet break and I'll be back for the last couple of minutes. Oh, I thought I'd missed a goal then. Kulusevski, no, nothing's going to happen with that. I think this is going to be a very disappointing start to the season for Spurs. 4 points from 9. Not a great start. I mean, it was always a difficult start for Spurs, having Newcastle the third game, but you'd expect to have at least 6, maybe 7, dream 9. But 4 from 9, it's not a great start for Spurs, is it? Palace scored, did they? No, they didn't. 1-1. Still 1-1. Anthony Gordon comes off. I'm just looking at Garnacho's brother's tweet. Have you seen it? Bloody hell. What's he done? Oh, no, he's just saying about Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor's the referee today, yeah. Three. You know, like that song, 4 non-blondes? You could have 3 dumb bolds. That doesn't make sense. You know, well, we've got 3 boldies involved, haven't we? Nothing wrong with being bold. Nothing wrong with that. Well, yes, as I said, disappointing for Spurs. No two ways about it. Drew at Leicester, losing at Newcastle at the moment. 4 points from 9, and they've got the North London derby coming up after that. Pressure. Little bit like that for Chelsea. I mean, if they don't get a late winner as well, 4 from 9 for them too. Will we get late goals here for either team? 90 plus 9 at Stamford Bridge at the moment. So looking like Palace getting their first point of the season as well. They're going to be very happy with that. Very good result for Newcastle. And can we just say as well, we're all talking about the disappointment of Spurs. 7 from 9 for Newcastle, 2 home wins and a point against Bournemouth. I mean, they haven't been amazing in this start to the season, Newcastle. And yet, very, very good start to the season. And a 3-pointer, there we go. Right, I'm going straight over onto United Stand. I'll be live in 90 seconds. I'll see you over there. Cracking result for Newcastle. Speak you over there.